I've had a number of people, ask me of late, Kevin, why would you bring this issue up? And it wasn't just as an early holiday present to my peers up here. I know we probably thanking me for the long night. It's because I love dogs. Last time I cried tears was the night my Labrador Retriever died a few years ago. I'm a dog lover, and I think we have to take action on the question of animal issues and doing what we can to make it safer for pets to be in our city. It's an issue that we've spoken to for years now, been asked about, and it's something that we've never really taken a proactive a step toward working on until now. So that begs the question as to where we are tonight. We have two different ordinances to consider as options, A and B. I'm inclined right now that neither are where we need to go, at least at this time. As we move forward with this debate, I think we have to do what we can to move emotion out of the equation and try and focus on facts and what we know, and not just rhetoric from either side of this debate. And we've heard a lot of things, true or not, from both sides, both of which are extremely passionate about the issue of pet stores and dog sales and cat sales in our community. With respect to option B, what are my concerns? And I have a number of them. We've heard one of the rationales for option B being this idea of consumer protection, that the pet stores are selling unhealthy dogs. And I expect that maybe that is true in Chicago, but here in Naperville, there's been no evidence that that has been happening on any kind of regular basis. The dogs being sold here are being sold for, by all accounts, at times over $2,000 or more. If dogs being sold at that price point were regularly unhealthy and carrying health issues, I find it impossible to believe that as we've dealt with these very highly publicized hearings, that we would not be getting significant numbers of complaints and stories from our residents, and that has not happened. To the contrary, I'd almost put it equal in terms of number of complaints versus the number of people that have chimed in that they are happy with the animals that they've gotten. The vet opinions that we've gotten locally and from different trade groups have all echoed the sentiment that the dogs being sold in the stores are from quality breeders. So, and our animal control department has only received a handful of complaints about sick dogs. So I have a lot of reservations about just taking this kind of lump sum approach to the fact that all dog stores are selling unhealthy dogs, because just locally we have not seen that here. And there's just no evidence to support that. The other concern I have is this notion that if we clamp down on the brick and mortar stores, then that de facto means the puppy mills go out. I have a lot of reservations about that insinuation as well. We've found in any number of contexts locally that retail sales of all kinds are moving to the internet. As we've been dealing with this, if you put in Naperville and any kind of dog or puppy that you can think of into your iPhone, you are going to find page after page after page of any number of opportunities to find that puppy. And that begs the question, if we move these sales out of the brick and mortar even further toward the internet, as they're going anyway, with or without this ordinance, what have we achieved? We've achieved taking a brick and mortar out. We've transferred the sales of these dogs from at least a partially regulated environment to an environment, the internet, that will have zero regulation. So what have we achieved at that? Is that really in the best interest of the dog? The other idea that's been presented with respect to the Chicago-style ordinance is that by our moving forward with an ordinance in that vein, that we are acting in the best interest of our taxpayers, that the animal control departments are stressed that if we pass this ordinance, again, de facto, there's not as many puppies being put out into the communities. Again, something that we've been presented no evidence to support that insinuation. There's the many cities that we've heard references passing this ordinance. We haven't seen that their budgets have been reduced, that there's less animal control expenditure being made, or even that there's even less puppies at all. Again, begging the question, even if the brick and mortar stores were out, does that really mean that these puppies are no longer being sold? And I think there's room to question whether or not that blind leap of faith that is the case is a questionable assumption to make. And finally, I think the biggest issue that I have is the USDA law and the allegedly failed state law that was passed, we don't have a puppy mill in Naperville. We have no mechanism to regulate out-of-state puppy mills. We have no ability to change USDA policy. We have no ability, other than through lobbying efforts, which I would personally be more than happy to be a part of, to change state law to further clamp down on these puppy mills. I'm not inclined, and when I've asked lobbyists and asked different elected officials and even some of the activists, why is all your attention on the stores if the problem is really the mills? And I've never really gotten a clear answer other than that the puppy mills are going to be harder to attack. And I'm not inclined to start poking around at our local brick and mortar because it's a more politically expedient approach, whether or not it's even effective, just because it may sound good on the surface, because we all want to help these puppies and in the puppy mills. There just has been no factual support to suggest that that would work. To me, I think the lobbying effort, the activist effort, right now is misguided toward these stores where it should be toward the puppy mills and the farms that are breeding these dogs in a very inhumane, cheap, at times I've used the word evil way. I think that's where the attention should be, not the brick and mortar stores, and that's where I'm at. So I'm inclined not to support the Chicago ordinance that we're referencing as B, simply because I don't believe it'd be effective, and I think our attention is better served through lobbying efforts. But